Body bags were horror lies.
What is up, y'all? Welcome to week 206 on the Body Bags. So back to some random reviews. Recently hit up some 88 films and picked up the Devonsville Terror. This is one I've never really heard any kind of talk about, to be honest. The fellow YouTube horror community, but I'm sure some people have mentioned it, but I haven't heard, much overall thoughts on it. But anyways, the film is directed by Uli Lomel. I probably messed up that. The director of the original Boogeyman and various other 80s cheesy goodness. Well, he's still doing stuff. But anyways, or at least he had done more. He's done some more recent stuff. I know he's done some serial killer biographical horror films. Film opens 300 years ago in a small New England town of Devonsville, obviously, and basically the townsfolk are on a witch hunt. They end up sacrificing this witch in a really unique way on this very large wheel. They have her tied to this wheel, set it on fire, and roll it down the hill. I've never seen anything like this. Maybe that was a way of torturing old school witches. Wouldn't surprise me, but very unique kill off the get go. But of course, that starts a vicious cycle and a curse on this town. So it cuts to 300 years later, 1983. I do believe the time set in modern times, and basically follows Dr. Worley, who is played by the legend Donald Pleasance, and he's investigating and interviewing townfolk, and basically trying to figure out this curse and figure out about some of these new liberal women in town that a lot of the men folk in town believe to be witches. One of the main chicks is a school teacher, and she has a pretty interesting role in the film. But anyways, I'm not gonna go too much in the plot. Basically, that's the overall feel, and so you have some cheesy moments in this. You have a floating head, a floating ghost head that haunts some of these women in town and some of the other town folk. They kind of have these visions, nightmarish visions, but they're kind of when they're awake, to these three women in town. It's one of those things. It's cheesy but kind of creepy at the same time. It's a burnt witch is kind of the overall look of her, and it kind of reminds you of a cheesier woman of the chick in The Shining that Jack makes out with in the bathroom. Kind of that kind of look, kind of creepy. I said, and it's haunting these women, and really cool effects though overall. I have to say that not huge amounts of gore, but a decent amount. And when it does happen, pretty cool practical effects. You have some melting faces. You have some literal exploding heads. So I mean, that's always a good time. That's always a plus. Really cool atmosphere too. I would say a good 80% of this movie, maybe more, is set at nighttime, and a lot of remote woods, and this is set in New England, so it's like in the Northeast. It doesn't specifically say the state, but yeah, really kind of cool atmosphere and charm to this one. I said, especially some of these night scenes and when they're outside. Score and soundtrack is effective. It's pretty minimal. Nothing too memorable or just awesome composing stuff. But like I said, it's effective. it's one of those. It's pretty simple, straightforward plot. You just have Dr. Worley basically investigating this curse and trying to find out more like it. He puts people under hypnosis to try to reveal their true colors and uh, get the answers. So I mean, that's maybe one of the downfalls of this movie is there's not a whole lot in the way of plot, but it keeps you engaged and entertained the whole film. At least it did me. Um, the only other really complaint I had is the final reel of the movie. The overall climax at the end of the movie is pretty damn solid because this movie kind of works as a slow burn and it really gives momentum. And like I said, the end is pretty damn effective. There's some cool gore happening, some cool shit going down. Yeah, the final reel of the film is kind of underwhelming. I feel like they could have done a little more there. I feel like there could have been, I don't know, something more original, something more memorable to happen at the the final reel of this film. It's just kind of like, well, okay. But like I said, it doesn't really hurt because the whole third act of the film and climax is pretty damn good. So I mean, the final reel is not killing me. It's one of those I didn't know. I don't have a solution on where they could have went with this movie either, so I can't be too critical on that. Yeah, that's my only major complaints. This is a pretty fun, I would venture to say, hidden gem film. Cool atmosphere, cool effects. You got Donald Pleasance, so you got some pretty solid acting. Yeah, and one of the better witch films, especially the '80s, that I have seen. So I'd say give it a watch. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. That is the Devonsville Terror, released by 88 Films. So until next week, y'all. Peace.